Hello, everyone. Thank you all for joining today's webinar on LexWorkplace in 2025, where I'll give you a full walkthrough, more or less, and really show you how the best legal DMS works in 2025. But first, quick introduction. So we are Uptime Legal. We are a leading legal technology company, and under that kind of broad umbrella, we provide cloud services to law firms as well as managed IT, as well as marketing and other legal tech services. And of course, LexWorkplace, our own legal document management system. We do all of that for over 5,000 legal professionals across the US and Canada. We have office locations and operations in Minneapolis, Minnesota, Austin, Texas, and Toronto, Ontario. And I am Dennis Dimka. I'm the founder and CEO of Uptime Legal, and I'm also the product manager for LexWorkplace, which means, among other things, my job is broadly to really steer and evolve and shape LexWorkplace. And I do that, or I try to do that, by way of just getting a lot of feedback from our audience, right? From users of LexWorkplace, as well as from prospective users of LexWorkplace. Getting a sense of what the needs are and building a product that meets those. So to start, before I get into LexWorkplace proper, I want to answer this question. What is LexWorkplace? Well, LexWorkplace is both legal grade cloud storage and a legal DMS, or a legal document management system. And different law firms we found use LexWorkplace in slightly different contexts based on their size often. Smaller firms tend to use a certain set of features, larger firms a different set of features, and they also think of LexWorkplace or even refer to it as different things. Some of our clients call it their cloud storage or their file system. Some of our clients call it their DMS, and they're both right. So said another way, LexWorkplace is different things to different people. So it is legal grade cloud storage in that it provides client and matter centric organization of your documents and your data, and that it provides highly secure cloud storage, and that it provides, among other features, powerful full text search. So those things certainly qualify it as legal grade cloud storage. LexWorkplace is also a true DMS, right? It has true DMS capabilities, meaning it has the trappings of a DMS, versioning, document compare, tagging and profiling, check-in, check-out, all those kinds of things. LexWorkplace is also a DMS in that it provides sharing and collaboration. You can share, of course, share documents and resources with members of your firm and also with outside parties as well. And LexWorkplace is a DMS in that it integrates directly with Microsoft for both Word and Excel, but also for Outlook, giving you the ability to save emails to your DMS. I'll talk on that in just a minute. So in that way, LexWorkplace is definitely a DMS. And perhaps the point I'm trying to make here is, I talk to a lot of law firms, and I'll often ask, what are your challenges? What could be better in your firm? And when we start talking about file systems, some firms will say, oh yeah, I don't need a DMS. That's too much. That's a big old thing. That's that's more than we need. And my advice is always, don't get stuck on labels. Don't worry about labels, right? Focus instead on what are your needs around file system and file management, right? What are your needs? If you need to get organized, if you need to secure your data, if you need to share and collaborate, or if you need to be able to search across documents and email, then you need LexWorkplace, and don't worry what you call it. So with that qualification out of the way, let's get right into it. Okay, let's get into it. So here is LexWorkplace on the screen. And the first thing you may notice about it is that it is completely cloud-based. So I run LexWorkplace in a web browser, which means it is Again, purely cloud-based, which means no servers to maintain, no software to maintain, everything handled for you. The other thing about being cloud-based, unlike other document management systems, is that LexWorkplace is 100% natively compatible with Windows and Mac OS. And I emphasize native because unlike other document management systems out there, you don't need to install Parallels or some kind of virtualization software or any workarounds to make it work. LexWorkplace natively works right on a Mac OS machine directly. So let's start with navigation. So what you see here is the home page. This is sort of a personalized dashboard, personalized to each user, where you'll see your favorite folders, favorite documents, and your open matters. And then on the left here is the main navigation. We call this the left nav for short. And from here, you can get to home, where we are right now, clients, matters, firm documents, and more. And of course, LexWorkplace is a document management system. And the way our system organizes information is by client, by matter, and then by firm documents. So those are kind of the three organizational structures. And I'll show you a little bit how they work. So I'll go into clients here. And this is the client list. Of course, this is a sample database and all dummy data. But in my fictitious law firm, here are all my clients. I can click on any one of these to jump into them. I see by default active clients. I can see if I choose to show me all clients or just inactive, so on and so forth. Let's go into a client. Let's go into this client right here, XYZ Corp. So I click on a client and I am brought to this screen. Now in LexWorkplace, a client is a container, meaning it is a container that holds matters, and a matter holds documents, data, email, etc. So in this specific case, this particular client has 3 matters. These could be all open, or these 2 could be old, and this could be the only open one. But in any case, this is all the matters for this client. I could click here to go into this matter, but instead I want to backtrack just a minute and jump into matters here on the left nav again. So this is the matters list. This is every matter, or in this case, every open matter in my firm. And that's the default is open matters. Again, I can say, show me all matters, just show me closed, or just show me again, my matters, where I am among the assigned people for that matter. Now, this is a lot of matters in this case. I can, throughout LexWorkplace, you'll see these column headers here that say filter. Anywhere you see a grid like this, you can filter and sort on that column. So for instance, I might say, you know, this is a lot of matters. For now, just show me matters that are based in our Los Angeles office. If I type here in the box, it filters on the fly. Or maybe I say, you know, just show me our estate planning matters. And again, it filters the list on the fly. So I point that out because if you're using folders essentially as a stand-in for matters in a basic file system, you know, folders can't have these qualities, right? A folder can't have a matter type or a client or can't be associated with a branch, at least not without a lot of retrofitting. Okay, so let's actually go into a matter here. I'm going to go into this matter here, XYZ entity formation. This is the same matter that I pointed out when we were looking at this client, and I'll go into it now. So this is the matter screen. It's fair to say this is something of a main screen. And this is the layout. So this is the matter. We're in XYZ entity formation matter. We have summary information here at the top. I kind of liken that to like a cover page for the matter, and then the data on the bottom. And in LexWorkplace, data, I'll use that term kind of generically to describe anything, is organized into 3 types of content: documents, email for this matter, and notes for this matter. Let's start and talk a little bit about documents. It's fair to say that the documents tab is kind of the main tab. It's where, in most cases, most of the stuff for this matter is likely to go. And the first thing I'll point out is that the word documents is a little bit of a misnomer. We use the label documents here to keep things simple, but in truth, you can save and store any kind of computer file, virtually any kind of computer file to LexWorkplace. So video files, audio files, images, virtually any kind of file you can store here in the Documents tab. And when you're on the Documents tab, at this point, it starts to look and work very similar to systems you're probably used to. So it looks very similar to like a Windows Explorer or even a Dropbox in a way, or at least in its simplicity. So in this case, I've pre-created these top level folders, and we see at the top level here these documents and these folders. So let's go into this folder called Contracts. As you can see within here, we've got more folders and more files. Let's go into this folder called First Round. As you can see, there's files in here. LexWorkplace makes it very easy to know where you are contextually. So I'm in this matter still. And within that, I'm on the Documents tab, if you can see that, the Contract subfolder, and then the subfolder under that. So very, very easy. We call that the breadcrumbs. Very easy to navigate, very easy to know where you are. So then getting documents into LexWorkplace, into a matter, say here, is very simple. A few different ways you can do it. One way, if you want to make, say, just a brand new blank document from scratch, you can click the New menu. This, by the way, this top blue bar here, we call this the universal nav or navigation, and it is there always. So this bar is always here, which means these menus are always here no matter where you are. And under New, I can create a new matter or a new client from anywhere. But in this case, you can also create a new Word document right here without having to leave LexWorkplace, without having to, say, fish for an open Word. That's for a new document. Suppose you have an existing document somewhere on your computer that you want to get into LexWorkplace. You can do that by a simple drag and drop, which I will demonstrate here. Let's make a new folder, actually. Call this Upload. Go into our Upload folder, so nothing in here yet. We just made it. I'm going to take this document, just a simple Word doc, drag it, and drop it. And there it is in LexWorkplace. Now, to open or view a document, you simply click on it. So let's open this one, abcdocument.docx. I click on it, and LexWorkplace is going to open it in the native application for that file type. So Adobe for PDFs in most cases, Word for Word documents, Excel, so on and so forth. So here in this case, LexWorkplace has opened up my Word, my Word application. So here I am. This is the document. I'll make a change. Hello world. And say I'm done. I just hit save and close out. Now that seems really rudimentary, but the important part is notice that I did not have to re-upload that document to LexWorkplace, which is the way it works with most web-based systems like this. LexWorkplace automatically saves it back to LexWorkplace as you're saving and exiting documents. And then beyond that, you can move documents around much the same way you might, again, in like a Windows Explorer. I can select multiple documents and folders, and under Actions, you'll find Cut, Copy, and Paste. I'm not going to do it now, but this is how you move things around within a matter, or even perhaps copying something from one matter to another. Another little feature I'll show is full text preview. So you can, of course, click on any document to open it, just like I demonstrated. But suppose you just want to just peek at a document, or you just want to look at it really quick. You can do that in LexWorkplace by way of what we call full text preview. Here's how it works. When you're hovering over any document, you'll see a variety of icons here, one of which is this eyeball. That's what we call it. So you click the eyeball, and you can see a preview. This was an image, so not the best example. Here's a better one. This is a Word document. If I click full text preview, here it is. This is here, the full document in its entirety. If this were a longer document, there would be a scroll bar and I would see the whole thing, even if it were 100 pages. It is text only, so it is plain text. And what that's useful for, again, is if you just want to quickly peek at a document, or if you want to grab some information, like maybe there's an email address or a phone number. This is all selectable. I can grab this, copy it, paste it, that kind of thing. So simple tool, really, really popular though. People like it. So those are really what I'll call the basic file system functions, right? So again, very, very similar to any file system you've probably used. But next, I'm going to show you some of the more advanced document management capabilities, some of the features of it. And really these, and I won't have time to cover them all, but these are really what makes a DMS a DMS. So I'm still in the same matter, XYZ entity formation. And what you can do for any document is click this three-dot menu, as we call it, and go to the properties screen. So we are now in the properties of this one document, ABC document.docx. Every document has the screen. And what you're seeing is metadata on the left. Click over here, and version history on the right. And I'll cover both now. I'll start with metadata. So if you're using or coming from another DMS, you're familiar with the concept of profiling or metadata. It works much the same way in LexWorkplace, starting with the name, of course. And then you can give a document a type from this dropdown. Now, this is a user-definable dropdown, meaning your firm is meant to really define what types of documents exist or are meaningful in your firm so that you can code documents accordingly and track them later. Document status, same thing. That is a firm definable or user definable field where you can define your own statuses that make sense in your firm. So that could be as simple as draft and final, or if you've got a complex workflow that you perform for certain documents, say with 5 steps, you could map out each step as a status, for instance, and track it here. Tags. Tags are really just an additional way to qualify a document, right? I sort of liken it to a post-it note that you put on a document. So in this case, we've already applied 3 tags, one that we called filed with court, do not destroy, and confidential. These are just labels, right? They're just, we use the word tags, but you can also call it a label that you can create and apply to a document. And finally, internal notes. Internal notes are exactly what it sounds like. You can enter notes here, and that information will live with the document, but not in the document. And that's a really important distinction to make, because if you send this Word document to some outside person, maybe your client, maybe another attorney, they will not and cannot see the notes because that is in LexWorkplace. So this is, these are again the properties or the metadata of the document. One thing that you'll notice is, or one thing I'll point out, I guess, is that's all optional. The only thing you have to give a document is a name. You can optionally give it a type and optionally give it a status, so on and so forth, because we realize that some of your firm's documents, that's a meaningful designation, right? A type, a status. And in some documents, it's just not, right? You just don't need that. So we don't require you to profile every document. But why would you, right? Why would one bother filling out this information on some or all documents? And the answer is really threefold. There's three reasons or 3 purposes of profiling documents. Number 1 is just the visual call out or cue. So here I am in this matter. There's some documents here, and I can see just at a glance the tags, right? I can see this document has been filed with the court, or in this case has a tag called filed with court applied to it. I can see the document type. I can see the status, again, at a glance. Reason number 2 that you might take the time to profile documents is the ability to filter and sort. So as I pointed out earlier, you can click into this column heading where it says filter, and you can type and it will filter on the fly. So in this example, there's not that many documents, so it's not difficult to see what's here. But suppose for a moment there were dozens of documents here, just a lot of stuff. I might say, you know what, just for a moment, just show me those documents that have been filed with the court. Or just show me documents that are of type contract. And again, filtering on the fly. So that is the second reason you might bother profiling a document. The third is search, which I will cover separately. So that's why profiling documents has some utility and some value. I think roughly 2/3 of our clients probably use those fields to some degree, and probably 1/3 approximately don't use it at all, and that's fine. You can always show and hide. Say the notion of tags is just not a thing in your firm. You can hide that column, and for all intents and purposes, it doesn't exist. Let's go back though into our document property screen. So that was metadata on the left, and as I said, version history on the right. And here's how versioning works. It's really straightforward. LexWorkplace automatically creates new versions of a document each time it is edited. So the first time you save a document or create a document in LexWorkplace, that becomes V1. Every edit thereafter becomes V2, V3, and so on and so forth. And you can see them here. For each version, you can download a copy if you want to see what that version looked like at that time. And as almost a byproduct of versioning, you have this nice sort of chain of custody. I'd like to think of it as, right? You can see a full, almost an audit trail, essentially, right? I can see that on this date, this person, me in this case, did this. And how you do that is you can, for the latest version of any document, you can add a version comment. So this is optional too, but this is where you might say, okay, I just made a change to this document. I want to log what I did or just document what I did. So I might say added paragraph 5.1. And there it shows, just a little note. Again, it's optional. And what I kind of recommend is you might have 20 versions of a document because it was edited 20 times, but maybe only 4 or 5 of them were real, material or meaningful changes. My advice is add a comment to those milestones or those versions. The other thing you can do with versioning is, again, LexWorkplace does this automatically for you each time you edit a file, but you can also upload a new version. So for instance, say you send a draft agreement out to opposing counsel and they make some edits, they make some red lines and send it back to you. You may want to upload that as save version 17 of this document. So you have that chain of custody again of what that document, who had it, who did what, when. So that's the Documents tab. There's certainly more tools and functionality there, but I'll cut it there. And then of course, we also have these other tabs. So there's the Email tab. In LexWorkplace, there is an add-in for Outlook. And when you install that and use it, you can save one or multiple emails directly to a matter in LexWorkplace with just a couple of clicks. And when you do that, it saves it here. And it saves it in its full original format, meaning I could click these and open it, and it would open it up in my email viewer, which in my case is Outlook. And you can also organize with folders and subfolders here. Notice that these folders are different from the folders on the Documents tab. So each tab really has its own kind of sub-file system, if you will. And the benefit of saving emails to a matter, of course, as opposed to, say, just taking matter-related emails and maybe organizing them in your Outlook, maybe in folders in Outlook, which is what we see a lot of firms do before moving to LexWorkplace. Problem with that is nobody else can see your Outlook folders, at least not without a lot of rigmarole and custom setup. In LexWorkplace, of course, anyone who has access to this matter can access not only the documents, but the emails that were saved at this matter, regardless of who saved them here, regardless of which person in your firm saved them here. So that's a high level on the Email tab. And then we also have the Notes tab. Notes in LexWorkplace are very simple and very flexible plain text notes that you can create and save in a matter. So use cases for notes could be really anything, but what we see real world is we'll see some clients use notes as something of a call log because notes are almost as a byproduct date and time stamped. We've seen firms organize their legal research within notes. We've seen meeting notes for sure, and we've seen some firms use notes as sort of an intake process or intake notes. You can use them however you want. I think the key is, though, that now your notes are for this one matter, XYZ entity formation. The notes for it are right alongside documents and email and accessible to your entire team. LexWorkplace is a DMS, and what makes a DMS again are some of these features and capabilities, as opposed to basic storage, right? And when I say basic storage, I mean things like an on-premise file server with like the G drive or the S drive. That's a basic file system, I would describe it. But also things like Dropbox and SharePoint and OneDrive and Google Drive. And I'm not picking on them, but they are basic file systems, right? They're basically folders. You can make folders, you can put stuff in the folders, and that's about it. As opposed to, again, a DMS. So what are some of those features? Well, just a few I'll highlight here include Word to PDF. So in LexWorkplace, you can convert any Word document to a PDF right in the system without even opening the document. And here's how it works. When I mouse over a document, I can click the three-dot menu again, and I can click, if it's a Word document, I'll see Convert to PDF. I just click it. Takes a couple of seconds. If it's a very large document, it can take up to, a minute or so, but it's usually pretty fast. And it is converting it to a PDF. And there it is. Now, of course, we realize you can do that in other tools. Even in Word itself, you can file, save as PDF. The reason our users really like this, and by the way, this feature came at the request of many customers. This was not our idea, not originally. So this feature is by customer request. And I think the reason that it's better done here is just how fast and simple it was, right? I click this, and I'm done. I don't even need to open it. Here is the original document. I'll actually open it up here, the Word document. And it's a document that I made that's pretty simple, but I tried to include a little bit of everything. So a paragraph, a bulleted list, and a simple table. And after converting it to PDF, here's what it looks like. Or here's what the PDF version of it looks like. Same exact thing. So that's Word to PDF. Very simple, but very, very handy. Another feature within LexWorkplace that a lot of people like, and this one's relatively new, is inline document compare. And we say inline because you can do it right inside LexWorkplace. So we actually give you two different ways to compare documents in LexWorkplace. The first is by way of our integration with Litera Compare Desktop. If you are a heavy-duty document comparer, you probably already use it and know it and love it. There's kind of no substitute. Litera Desktop, a very robust compare tool. Some firms don't need that powerful of a tool. They need more simple side-by-side compare features. So for that, the other option that we give our users is inline compare. And how it works is you can compare either two different documents side by side or two versions of the same document. Here's how it works. Suppose I wanted to compare these two documents. I would click, again, our three-dot menu, and I would click, in this case, Compare in LexWorkplace. If you haven't enabled the Litera Compare integration, you'll see that option as well. And then I would click Compare, and then I would select the second document to compare it to. But I'm going to do it a little different. I'm going to go back into the properties of this document. Again, I shared that you can compare two different documents or two versions of the same document. So let's do that. Let's say I want to, this was the modification I made not that long ago. And here is a version back on November. Well, that's quite old. Let's do this one. So I want to compare version 16 to version 10. So I click the three-dot menu of the version, just like in the previous screen, and I say compare in LexWorkplace. And now it's saying, great, tell me what document you'd like me to compare it to or what version. So I'm going to go to V10, three-dot menu, compare in LexWorkplace. Again, I'm telling it what the second document is. Now it's going to grab those two documents, put them side by side, and give us a simple little compare. If you've used any compare software before, including Microsoft Word's own kind of basic inline compare, it's very similar. You get the side by side, you have a red line showing you the differences, and then you have sort of an itemized list of differences that you can work through and process as you see fit. Now, this actually is, it's all in LexWorkplace, but it's actually by way of a third-party tool called Draftable. It all happens and works within LexWorkplace, but it is powered by Draftable. So I think the last thing that I will show everyone is search. For a lot of our clients, search is the main reason, maybe the almost only reason to get a DMS in the first place, to get into LexWorkplace. Here's how it works. You can go to search from our left nav again. And really, it looks and works much like your very own personal Google search for your firm's data, your client and matter documents and data. So in the search screen here, I can type any search phrase I want. Again, just like a Google search. I'm going to do a search for the word test because it's broad and I know there's going to be a lot of results. But that's all I'm specifying. I'm saying, show me anything, anywhere with the word test in it. Any document, any page, any email, any note, anything. And here I go. It found over 1,100 items, or 1,100 documents rather, 39 emails, 4 matter notes with the word test in it. And it also will summarize for you here top matters, meaning the 5 top matters with that word or phrase occurring the most. Now, this is an awful lot of results, right, to look at. So we can further refine our search either after the fact or while we're running our first search. So for instance, include is our first drop down here. What that means is, do you want to include which of the 3 tabs, essentially? Do you want to include documents or email or notes or all of the above? So it defaults to everything, but I can say, actually, just show me documents. And I can rerun that search here. And now there's a refined search. Or I could say, just show me email, or just show me documents, but only search the name of the document, not the content. By default, it will search the content. And we can also further limit by matter. So this is really useful if you just want to search one matter or a couple of matters. So let's say I believe what I'm looking for is probably going to either be in this ABC matter or this Jones v. Jones matter. I think what I'm looking for is there. So I can, again, rerun my search. And now it's just searching these 2 matters. As you can see, the results are getting fewer and fewer as I narrow my search. Other things you can search by or refine your search by are document type, status, and tags. Again, just documents. And coming back to when I talked about profiling documents, right? Why do some firms profile or add metadata to documents? And I said there were 3 answers. The third one is search, right? I can search for any type or tag or status that I've created. In fact, that can be the only thing I specify. Here's what I mean. Say I want to write a certain kind of contract, and I know someone in our firm has written one before. Hopefully I've set it up as a template, but if I haven't, what I could do is say, search all of LexWorkplace, but just show me any document that is a contract. I've added no other criteria. So now when I run a search, it is literally going to return, in this case, all of the 68 documents that have that the type is set to contract. Again, I can further refine by matter, by status, and other parameters. So that is the utility of profiling documents. You can also search or refine your search by who the document was modified by within your firm, or modify it in a certain date range, or locked by or in use by a particular user. So you can be as broad or as precise as you want with search. The other thing I'll show relating to search is this. So I showed you how to go into the search screen or the search module, but You may have also noticed this bar up here where it says search LexWorkplace, and it does exactly what you would think. So let's do a search from here. I'm just going to, again, do a search for the word test. And it literally brings me to search and runs that search, just as if I had run it from here. However, let's do this. I'm going to do a search for the letters X, Y, Z. And here are my options. It's saying I can search for X, Y, Z, much the same way I just did for test. Or I happen to notice that you have, in this case, two matters with the phrase X, Y, Z in it. Did you want to go to this matter? I can click here to jump right to this matter. And in this example, it's also saying that there are two clients with that phrase XYZ in the name. These two clients here, and I can jump right to them. So let's go here, back to this matter. I can click here, and it will bring me directly to this matter. So in a lot of ways, some of our clients almost use the search bar as sort of like the starting point. Say they come into work for the day, and first thing they do is they know they need to work on the ABC matter. So you could, of course, go to the matter list and find it that way, or you could say ABC, that's the matter I want, and jump to it. So that is search in LexWorkplace. Okay, that about does it. That is at least a taste of LexWorkplace in 2025. I hope you all have a better understanding of it. And I hope you have a better understanding as to whether or not it would be a good fit for your firm. If you want to learn more, I absolutely encourage you to come to our website, which is lexworkplace.com, spelled like you see in the top right. That's where you will find plans and pricing. Pricing information is publicly available. You'll also find a full walkthrough video, kind of like this one, like this webinar, but a little more detail. As well as you can also reach out and get in touch with us via our website and schedule a one-on-one consult or a one-on-one demonstration for your firm. So thank you all for attending, and I will see you next time.